Trouble in the shed. The Fat Controller sat in his office and listened. The Fat Controller frowned it and said, "What is the pass? What a nuisance passengers are! How can I work with all this noise?" Then the station master came in and looking worried. "There's trouble in the shed, sir. Henry is sulking. There's no train, and the passengers are saying this is a bad railway." "Indeed," says Sir Topham from the Fat Controller, "we cannot allow that. Will you go acquainting the passengers, please? Well, I will go speak to Henry." He found Gordon, James, and Henry looking sulky. "Come along, Henry. It's time your train is ready." "Henry's not going," said Gordon rudely. "We won't shunt like common tank engines. We are imported tender engines. You fetch our coaches and we will pull them. Tender engines don't shunt." "Oh, indeed," said the Fat Controller severely. "We'll see about that. Um, we'll see about that. Engines on my railway are do as they're told." And he hurried back into the car and drove to find Edward. "The yard has never been the same since Thomas left," he thought sadly. Edward was shunting. "Leave those trucks, please, Edward. I want you to pull some coaches for me in the yard." "Thank you, sir. That will be a nice change." "That's a good engine," said the Fat Controller kindly. "Off you go, then." So Edward found coaches for the three engines, and that day the trams ran as usual. But when the Fat Controller came the next morning, Edward kind of looked unhappy. Gordon come clanking by, hissing rudely. "Bless me," said the Fat Controller, "what a noise!" "They all hiss me, sir," answered Edward sadly, "and they said tender engines don't shunt, and last night they said I had black wheels. I haven't, have I, sir?" "No, Edward, you have nice blue ones, and I'm proud of you. Tender engines do shunt, but all the same, we do need another tank. You will be happier in our yard." Tank engine. We need a tank engine here." He went to a workshop and found all sorts of tank engines. There were big ones, small ones. Some looked happy, some looked sad. Some would look at him anxious, hoping he would choose them. At last he saw a smart little green engine with 4 wheels. "That's the one," he thought. "If I choose you, will you work hard?" "Oh, sir, yes, sir." "That's a good engine. I'll call you Percy." "Yes, sir. Thank you, sir." And then said Percy. So he brought Percy and drove him back to the yard. "Edward," he called. "Here's Percy. Will you show him everything?" Percy learned what he had to do, and they had a happy afternoon. Once Henry came by, hissing as usual. "Whee!" said Percy. Henry jumped and ran back to the shed. "How beautifully you wish, Jim Edward," laughed Edward. "I can't wish like that." "Oh, that's nothing. You should hear him loudly in the workshop. You have to wish loudly to make yourself heard." Next morning Thomas arrived. "The Fat Controller sent for me. I expect he wants help," he said importantly to Edward. "Shh, shh, here he comes," he cried. Well done, Thomas. You have been quick. Listen, Henry Gordon and James are sulking. They say they won't shut like common tank engines. So I have shut them up, and I want you both to run the line for a while." "Common tank engine indeed," snorted Thomas. "We'll show them." "And Percy will help too," said the Fat Controller. "Oh, yes, sir. Oh, sir. Yes, sir. Please, sir," answered Percy. Edward and Thomas worked on the line, starting on opposite ends and pulling trains, whistling cheerfully to each other as they passed by. Percy sometimes puffed along the branch line, Thomas was anxious Thomas was anxious, but both driver and guard promised to take care of Annie and Clarabelle. There were fewer trains, but the passengers didn't mind that. They knew that the three others were having a lesson. Gordon, James, and Henry were stay shut in the shed, and they were cold, lonely, and miserable. They wished now they hadn't been so silly. Stay tuned, folks, for Percy Runs Away. RSSM. See you later.